And we are. And we are recording. And welcome to Reading with Robin. I am so excited to have somebody who has her books positioned very lovely on her shelves behind us, beloved by so many readers, so many people thrilled whenever there's a new Meg Cabot book out. No Offense arrived yesterday. What a great title, because how often do you hear people say that?
I know, right? And I get so mad when they do, because they're always like, no offense. And immediately when you hear that, you feel angry. So that's why I thought that was a great idea for a book title.
I mean, you know, and for you to keep coming up with these clever titles can't be any easy feat.
It's not.
Right? Oh, Meg. So look at this. No offense, but no offense. There's just no way not to offend. Meg Cabot is beloved by so many readers. In addition to her adult contemporary fiction, she's the author of best-selling young adult series, The Princess Diaries. More than 25 million copies of her novels for children and adults are sold everywhere. She lives in Key West. Visit her website at megcabot.com and find her everywhere. Follow her and all of this great stuff. And congratulations on your latest. No offense.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. This is really nice. And I love talking to you. It's always fun.
I love chatting with you. I still have some of the old emails from
oh my gosh,
like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I do love your little nook there. And you've got No Offense. Are those your favorites, or are those just all your books?
So, no, these are nowhere near all my books. And this, I mean, I'm not saying that this was all I did during the pandemic, but we did actually, my husband and I spent a big chunk of our time rearranging all the books and getting them to look nice. But yeah, there are more books that we're not showing you that are just haphazardly piled up everywhere. And we actually have a whole other room with books too, because we have so many. I mean, he was an English major in college, and I was a huge reader, so we just have so many books. These are the most attractive ones. So
that's so, you know what, you have to put
nice
the most
looking ones. Yeah.
Right, that's a way to organize. I actually didn't mean all your books. I meant all Meg Cabot books.
Oh, no. The ones on the upper shelves are Meg Cabot books.
Okay.
These down here are my favorite books. So yeah.
Oh, I would, yes. I would,
really the ones I love most.
Yeah, I would never presume that those were your books.
No.
Silly Meg Cabot.
We have some Star Wars stuff down here, and yeah.
That has been one of my favorite parts of all of these author interviews in homes, because seeing authors' bookshelves, and I love the way you're like, you know, in that little nook. That's a really great, well-staged, and your husband gets credit too. So that's awesome. Yeah, it becomes very important. People that have been watching for a while probably like, we know, Robin, this is your sixth. I counted this is the sixth room they've put me in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm here to stay. This is the best one. But I have tried, you know, it's been the Goldilocks method of where is your home studio the best. And have you been there the whole time? Like, have you been sitting there for the past 6 months?
Yeah. This is the one but I was trying it just on the couch, like very slouched on the couch, and I was kicked off by people in my house. Were like, you need to go in this other room.
That's funny. I know,
you
right?
You want to watch TV, get out.
And it's funny how it used to be, you know, our homes, and then it's like, you know, slouched on the couch isn't a great look for a lot of people.
I know, it wasn't working.
But I have had some authors who are on their couch and they're trying so hard to sit up in a position. I'm like, I think it's a different mentality when you're on a couch, maybe. I don't know. I felt differently when I was in the basement without like daylight. That was a weird, I did a lot.
You look good there. You need to stay. I love that you have a mantle with a fireplace. You know, we don't have those in Key West. So if you've got one of those, you've got to show it off, because that's a good look.
Thank you. We don't turn it on.
No,
ever.
Very.
I was actually thinking of doing bookshelves in the fireplace below,
nice.
You know, I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I thought it was another good place to store them. Some people store books, you know, in the ovens they don't use.
Yeah, that's a good look.
We use our oven, but we don't use the fireplace. But I do kind of like my niece's artwork behind me. She made me my Reading with Robin sign, made all these. Yeah. So thank you. Well, no offense. So has everybody been saying that to you? No offense, Meg. Are we going to talk about your book?
Yes. So, so this is a book. It's kind of in a series. You don't have to have read the other books in the series, although my publisher would like me to say that yes, you should. But the first book was called No Judgments, and then my editor said, why don't you make all the books have the word no in them. And I was like, that's a great idea. So this next one is called No Offense. But they are all set on the same island, which is called Little Bridge Island. So even though you can't tell from the cover, it is a tropical setting in the Florida Keys.
Yes.
Yeah. And so in this book, it's about the town librarian who she finds a baby in the bathroom, abandoned baby. So she has to call 911, and then the sheriff shows up and they butt heads, of course, because she considers herself an amateur sleuth and she wants to help, with the situation, but he doesn't really appreciate her help, although he finds her very cute. So that's why it's called No Offense, because no offense, they both think they know better than the other one. And I love the little slogan. The little slogan on it that he's by the book, but she's read all the books, and so they both think
so clever
better than the other one.
It's a book lovers book. When you put a librarian, a library, and book lovers all together in a bookish book, that's a win. And you've got Miss Molly, the librarian, and Sheriff John, the Sheriff John. And wait, so I'm thinking about the other titles. Are you going to do like No Kidding, No Joke?
Yeah, well, okay, so I did have to go, and when I was thinking about this, I was like, oh my gosh, a lot of the titles have already been used. I have a huge list now of titles that I can use that have not already been used, like No Regrets, I was thinking. Nope, it's been used a million times. So yeah, I do. I have a file called No Titles.
No. I love it. I mean, you can use it. You just don't, right. No way.
Exactly.
No more. Yeah.
Trust me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, now I'm going to be following very closely.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be sending you little messages.
Yes.
Meg, no.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
If you find one that's good, please send it my way.
I will. Everybody, thank you for watching. And Meg also can look at some of these later, but I'll try, and if you guys have questions, I will try. Sarah loved No Judgments.
Oh, thank you.
It's such a great book. I mean, also, I guess I didn't expect to be finding a baby in the bathroom at the beginning of this.
Yeah, well, I actually live 2 blocks from the public library here in Key West, and so I go there, and I know several of the librarians. And one of the reasons that I thought of writing this book was because I heard a rumor that one of the librarians there is actually married to one of the sheriffs here in town. And as soon as I heard that, my brain went into overdrive. I started thinking, how did that happen? And I started making up this story. And I did eventually meet her and heard the real story, which has nothing to do with no baby has ever been abandoned in the Key West Library. Although they've told me some interesting stories about other things that they have found in the bathroom and even in the book depository, they're really bizarre. Nothing gross. It wasn't that. It's just weird things.
Right. Like what? Like why? Right.
Yeah. And so I just thought that would be, really interesting. What if you found, maybe the mother had to, for safety reasons, had to leave it there, or, so that's how that story occurred to me and how it ended up becoming this book, which also has a sheriff that I've got busted because I did kind of write a little bit of a fan fiction about the chief of police from Stranger Things. He's really kind of based on Chief Hopper. So I love him. I love Stranger Things. I wanted it to keep going. And so it did keep going in my head and became this book a little bit.
I love that. Well, you can do that. I mean, so when you get busted, that's really your fans just loving you and figuring it out.
Yeah, I got busted because I designed the cover.
You did?
Because they asked me, like, what do you want for the cover? And I said I wanted this couple, but I can't draw men. So when I drew the guy, I cut out a picture of Chief Hopper, posted it on the paper, and they were like, "Okay, well, we're not going to go that far."
That's hilarious, Meg.
Yeah.
That is so funny. Yeah, because if you can't do the illustration you're looking for, might as well get a real live example.
I mean, they have all those stock images, but I thought, well, I can just use this guy that I really like. And
did they think that was hilarious? Were they cracking up?
I hope they were. I don't know. But they came up with this great image that looks really, really nice.
Oh, it totally does. It jumps right into your hands, and it's red, my favorite. Cute. I mean, he's by the book. She's read all the books. Was she a big reader of like Nancy Drew? If she Nancy's herself.
It mentions that her whole she actually lives in a hotel because she hasn't found a really nice apartment yet to live in, but her whole apartment hotel room, I guess, is just wall-to-wall books. So and she saves, like most people who are book lovers, she saved every book. That even though she's a librarian, she can't let go of her childhood favorites. So she has them all.
We've had that discussion on Reading with Robin about saving books, donating them, get with the ones you just can't part with. And
Yeah.
it is a really tricky thing. And I love hearing different takes on that. Especially people who would prefer to read electronically, because that's, that's a whole other thing. Do you ever revisit books, or do you have favorites
Oh my
that you,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these books, actually the ones over there, are all my childhood favorites that I still have and I've lugged from place to place.
Mhm.
And I can't let go of them. I just did finally now buy a Kindle. I actually have one. And so I'm reading on that and I love it too. But I love the feel of paper too. So I can see going both ways. I actually bought one of the Kindles that's waterproof, so you can read it, in the pool or wherever.
That
And
makes
if you
sense.
drop it, you don't have to worry, because I have lost so many books that way, dropping them in the pool. So this is an amazing new kind of technology for me. I'm so excited about it.
It's this new thing called Kindle, and yeah, books don't float well, but
No, I've had that accident so many times.
Yeah, I know. It's the only good thing about them is that they look, if you can rescue them quickly and save the pages, they look like a beloved book, or somebody else finds it slightly damp. At least somebody else has something to read.
Yeah.
You should just, when you go on vacation, you should just toss all the Meg Cabot books in the pool and see what happens.
I've had readers come up to me at book signings with their copies of my books that have clearly been dropped into some kind of water, but they love them, and they look so loved, and they've got the wavy pages, and they're like, I'm so sorry, but this is my favorite beloved copy from when I was 12 or whatever, which is frightening that I'm that old, and I love it. I would prefer they also bought a new copy, of course. Maybe it's a new book, but I will gladly sign, the old, because I know how it feels, and I have copies of books like that too, so I get it.
There are just, those are the beloved copies. I save those, but I have to say, short of when I was maybe in high school and reread certain books, I would feel like I was taking time away from a new friend yet to meet. So, it becomes a time thing, because there probably, I'm sure there are books that would be really neat to see how I felt about them at a very different part of life, and if they would still resonate. And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning. This is a special edition of Reading with Robin. This is the 3 o'clock. I don't usually do 3 o'clock, so it's a very special edition of Reading with Robin. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Nina loves that you have Molly as a librarian. So did you write any of this book at that library that you lived a few blocks from?
I might have, when my internet goes out. That's, of course, like everyone, I go to the library. I've gone to the library for other reasons, and I give talks there. I actually gave a talk for my graphic novel. My first graphic novel that came out with DC Comics was Black Canary, and I was really fortunate. I got to give a talk at that library for 75 fourth graders, which was really fun. And a really nice patron of the library actually bought a copy of the book for every single kid. So at that library, I got to give a talk. And of course, I go there to talk to the librarians to find out, I wanted to find out the little details about being a librarian that would make this book seem more realistic. And I think I did a pretty good job. There were some probably parts that every library doesn't have. Like, we have a drag queen that comes and reads to the kids.
No, I don't think standard librarian fare, but
not.
I wish ours did. Maybe they do.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So cool.
Yeah, and she starts the book where she's having a cookie decorating program, and she realizes quickly that was not the thing to do, because the cookie stuff gets everywhere and it doesn't work out. But that was something
hilarious, because also the 16-year-old is doing some really fun kooky things with his cookies, cookies. And I love that Molly wanted to laugh, but she knew she shouldn't. And that's always a hard thing to do when you're with children and something is wildly inappropriate. Right.
It brings up the issue of, at what point are you not a child anymore? Which the kid who's 16 asks her. She's like, aren't you a teen? Shouldn't you be going to the teen section? And he's like, am I not a child though? At 16, can't I stay for the cookie decorating contest in the children's section? And it is an issue that I think that some librarians encounter when the teen won't leave the tiny children's section because he wants to hang out with the
especially
cookies.
If there's cookies. Right. If there's cookies, everybody is a kid when there's cookies around. And also magicians are another thing that you have to have.
I didn't even think about that. No.
Oh yeah. We found that at a birthday party for my son, at the time was maybe 5. I think that's the limit. And so he had some older friends. And then I realized, I'm like, older friends who were 6.5 and 7, stop, so I learned that was a little tip I passed down to friends. If you're going to have a magician at a party, you have to cap it at the kid's age that will appreciate it.
Okay.
Or put
Wow.
duct tape on the other children.
Yeah. No, they could ruin it. They could
Oh,
ruin it for
yes.
the littler kids. Yeah.
Even worse than
Aw.
what your character does with the cookies, which you have to leave to your imagination. Where else? You've got librarians watching. Carol's watching.
Yay.
Kimberly's watching. I actually intended to tag my friends who are librarians, Lisa, Robin, Roseanne. There's more that I'm gonna miss, but Carol's watching. I love the librarians. So what did you find out from the librarians that was really particularly shocking to you?
I can't say on a family program. I
Not
think
a
they all
family
know.
program.
They all know the stuff that goes on in there. But what I wanted to
Hanging
write
out
about,
with stacks.
Yeah, I wanted to. It was more. Well, I won't get into it. But I wanted to write about librarian because I was so fortunate that I encountered a librarian early on in my life who really encouraged me to read, because I myself was a reluctant reader when I was a little kid. I had a lot of problems with reading. I don't know why. My mom blames it on my being left-handed for some reason. I don't know why the left-handed kids always get told that it's because you're left-handed,
right?
So you can't read.
Not?
But I think I just had problems finding a book that I could connect with, and I think that that's where librarians play such an important role especially in children. So I remember, like, in the second grade, a librarian coming up and spending time with me at the school and helping me find the book that got me hooked on reading. And I remember the book. It was the Evolution of Horses, because I loved horses.
You loved horses, right?
And
so then
that book, and then she took me over to the animal section, where I just found so many books about other animals and their evolution and the life cycle of the kangaroo. And I was so indebted to that librarian, because once you find that book and you realize, the books are really cool and you can find out things, and then move on to Black Beauty and then Lassie and more animal stories. That's what really started me reading. And I really credit that with what has turned me into a writer today, because I felt more confident, and then I was able to explore more parts of the library. And so Molly Montgomery, the librarian in No Offense, is a librarian like that, who really takes the time to spend with kids and get them into reading. And John, the sheriff,
I thought he was going to walk in the way you said that. I'm like, what? And John,
he's right here. He describes an experience that he had like that as a kid, where there was a librarian who was very kind to him and got him into reading as well.
Right.
So that was really based on my own experience.
There is nothing like that librarian. I haven't talked about Mrs. DeWeese in a while, but I did an event last night. Jenna Blum interviewed me, and that's in my longer bio. But my librarian, Virginia DeWeese, was such a big part of my lower school experience. And I sometimes maybe have told the story, but she used to hide the Judy Blume books for me in this her office. I knew it was small, but I took my son back to visit my elementary school a few years ago, and it was as small as I remembered. Like, I remember thinking it was like, she was in like a little closet, but it actually was I'm sure it was not a code opening. It was like this bizarre little, half of a size thing that she would have her tea and leave her sweater in there, but she would stack up some of the Judy Blume books. I think Deanie and Then Again, Maybe I Won't were books that probably weren't appropriate for a fourth grader, maybe. I don't remember. But she let me read them, and I used to sometimes hang out. If it was like too hot or too cold for me outside, I would go help shelve books with Mrs. DeWeese. And so it was so formative. And then she wound up coming to my high school when we got redistricted. So we had our relationship continued.
Aw, that's adorable.
I know, isn't it? I loved Mrs. DeWeese. I can hear her voice in my head.
Yeah. Like,
really. And it was never shh for me. I don't know. I probably, that was probably one of the places I respected the rules. But it was, just a magical place to me. Yeah. And the librarians at our town library were also great, but it was more, but Mrs. DeWeese had my heart for sure.
Aw, that's so great. Yeah, I think that the stereotype of the shushing library, I'm trying to let that one die, because I don't think that's appropriate anymore. They're very much there to help you, and almost like social workers these days, because there's so many people who depend on them for so many other things than just helping them find books, which is what I really learned. So it was really fun book to write, and it was really great hanging out with the librarians and learning from them what they really do, which is a lot of helping people with the internet too.
Yeah, well, so many people go there to have access. I like in the book, I forget who Molly's talking to when she casually references ALA. Was it to John, like he would know, or whoever, who
He's like, Alaska Airlines? What are you
right.
talking
I
about?
know, it was very funny. That's the thing, is people who are really into, you can read the book on a lot of levels, but there's
Right.
nothing like book people to read books about book
Yes,
people.
it
And
was
it's,
funny.
no offense, Meg Cabot, and go to megcabot.com. Such a great website. You have a newsletter to sign up for,
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think yes, because I know because I get it.
Yeah.
And find her on Instagram also, and on Facebook, and like her page and all of that. So what, if you had to say what was the librarian's superpower? I mean, there are many, but what would you say is the librarian's
Ooh.
biggest superpower?
Wow. I think kindness really is what I've encountered. Kindness and helpfulness, really. I don't really know what else to say. Every single one that I've encountered, fortunately for me, and good sense of humor is always something you really need for the job. I've
Oh
been
yeah.
very fortunate that that's what I've encountered, because otherwise I don't think you're going to make it as a librarian.
You definitely have to have a sense of humor, right? I love that. Oh, they love you everywhere. We
Oh,
love,
thank you.
Carol is librarian in Swansea, Mass. And she says, we love Meg Cabot in Swansea. And let's see, where else they love you. They love you everywhere.
Oh my goodness, that's so nice. Thank you.
Oh, and Samantha's watching in France. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh yes, because 3 o'clock. I know, because when I do them later at 7,
okay.
it's midnight or 1.
Yeah.
And I love, there's something about watching something live with everybody, because everybody's watching together. But the good news is they're still available. But I know it's more fun to watch live. So I'm glad you're watching, Samantha.
Yeah,
And
bonjour
Erica.
or bon nuit.
Oh, I want to go. When can we
Oh,
travel
that's
again?
sweet. I know. Well, it maybe in a while.
I
Hopefully
know.
soon.
Thankfully, books will take us in too many places that
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
can't go.
Visit.
So
I know. I've been reading a lot and watching a lot of travel shows, pretending like I'm in France,
yeah,
different places.
you have a good imagination. Clearly, what have you read, and what do you recommend?
Well, I am actually the Bookstore Romance Day ambassador, which Bookstore Romance Day is on August 15th. So we're encouraging everybody to buy a romance, not necessarily this one. There are lots of other ones. And I have, this is a good one that I've been reading. You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Faria is amazing. It's super funny, but also super sweet. I just finished that one. Right now I am reading Jasmine Guillory's Party of Two.
That was really good. I love that.
It's really fun. And I'm just also I'm reading a lot at the same time. I have books scattered around the house. I'm also reading Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. It's really fun. I
haven't read that yet.
She's a British author, and so it's really fun because it's like I'm in England.
See, there you go.
Really
That's what you have to do. Pick up a book and you're in a whole other world.
There's just a ton. I have another one. God, I have books everywhere, all over my house. This is one that's, if you like Jane Austen, this is a kind of Pride and Prejudice, retelling Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors. Oh, you knew about this one.
Yes, I interviewed her a month and a half ago, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh, good.
I remember. Okay, yeah. But I love. Well, clearly we're on the same page, Meg. But I love the travel and the getting out of your own head when you're reading, but also the sights and the sounds, because authors are just so amazing at bringing all of that to everybody and bringing that to a story. And we need that more than ever. So August 15th is Romance Day, or what is this?
Bookstore Romance Day. So we would like for people to, if they can, get in touch with their local independent bookstore and order a romance novel.
Okay.
Or it could be, I particularly like a romance with a little mystery in it, because I feel like right now what we need is kind of for justice to prevail. I always enjoy it, like when there's some justice, but then also a happy ending with a romance, because you get hope and you get justice and you get, your heart flutters a little. I love all of those things. So I think that that's really what I'm trying to promote for August 15th, because I think that your local indie probably needs some help with some sales,
Absolutely.
and they will deliver, and you will get your book right away. So right here in Key West, we have Books and Books, and that's
I
where I
know.
will be going. Yes.
You're
Well, I'm not going
so
to go there, but
lucky.
they will deliver to your door. So yeah, and so that's just what I'm telling people. August
I'm glad
15th.
to know. I did not know
Yeah.
that, so I'll
Yeah, we need to
promote
spread
that.
the word better. You can go
Right.
to bookstoreromanceday.com, I think it is, and
Oh,
click to
good.
find out where your closest bookstore is.
Bookstoreromanceday.com, August
Yeah.
15th. That's a Sunday. No, Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
It's this coming Saturday.
It's almost here.
I know. It's so
It's so
exciting.
funny. When I think of romance, I went through such a romance reader phase in high school. You know,
Oh, me too. Yeah.
those bodice ripper, emerald
Yeah.
green-eyed,
Yes.
flaming red-haired vixens.
Yes. So wonderful. I love them.
I
Joanna
love those.
Lindsay and Kathleen Woodowitz.
Oh, Kathleen Woodowitz. Oh my
Yes.
God. Yes. I had a girlfriend, the
her.
two of us would just, for some reason, we buy the same books. It was kind of silly. We should have bought,
Yeah.
we were like, well, if you want this one, I want this one, as opposed to like, sharing.
Yeah, but you were good. You were contributing to Kathleen's
We
finances.
were.
Very good job.
Yeah, I loved, and I remember that book, one of her books is being oversized.
Oh my God, I'm sure. They were really thick. I mean, I have one actually right over here called
Yeah.
Wind, but I still have for some reason. And yeah, they were just great. They're so much fun. So
yeah. Now
Sarah McLean now is a great author if you like those kind of historical romances that you can pick up. And there's not so much bodice ripping as ladies who like to shed their clothes for the man who deserves to see them naked. It's very exciting.
I was 16 back in the day. That's when I was reading them. That's so funny. Well, I was glad to know that. So Sarah McLean?
Yes, she's amazing.
Okay.
She's a great feminist kind of romance writing.
I'm
But
sure
it's set in like the 1800s. It's really fun.
Yeah, 1800s, not always the same. It's interesting how the time, depending on who's writing about a time period, how it can look different, which I love.
Yeah.
Well, this was so much fun. It's so neat to have you. It's No Offense by Meg Cabot, and we'll look forward to the next in the No-No series.
Yay!
The No-No series.
I love that, the No-No series.
The No-No series by Meg Cabot. Go to megcabot.com, and somebody is going to win a copy of this. And I forget the other one. There's two books they're getting.
No Judgments or no?
Oh, you know what? It probably was. I have to look at Pamela's email and make sure.
Yeah.
So actually, Meg, you can go to the Facebook page and see all the comments and wave to your fans.
Oh, I will. Right
and
after
then
this. Yeah.
and pick somebody and just mark that they won, and I'll make sure and they can get in touch with me and Pamela. Like 10 people are involved in getting you this book, so I hope you'll enjoy it. So thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I'm doing the Royal Genovia wave. Is that it?
Thank you. Thank you.
I had
Video
to do that.
people. That's great.
Thank you.